This is what I made today as a personal chef in Beverly Hills. One fish that my clients request once a week or at least once every other week is miso cod. It's pretty hard to find actual black cod, so most of the time we just use sablefish, which you can always find at Whole Foods. There are probably 1,000 recipes for this online that are all basically the same, but this is the current recipe that I use for my clients. It's 160 grams of sake, 160 grams of mirin, 200 grams of white miso, and 150 to 200 grams of sugar. This version is definitely on the sweeter side, but that's how my clients like it. If you make it, I'd recommend starting at 150 or even 120 grams and then taste as you go. I usually only have enough time to marinate it for an hour and a half before serving, but if I were to make this at home or in the restaurant, I'd probably let this marinate at the minimum overnight and up to 2 to 3 days. I combine the sake and mirin in a pot and get that reducing until the smell of alcohol is gone. I throw in my miso and whisk it as much as possible, but I don't go too crazy since I'll be throwing it into the blender anyway. I get it in there, add the sugar, and blend until smooth. I do like how shiny it gets when it's blended. That's our miso glaze, and I just let that cool down. This will last in the fridge for like 2 weeks. I've never had it stick around longer than that since I use it for so many things, but I'm sure it'll be fine for longer than that. I rinse my jasmine rice until it runs clear, throw it into a pot with water, some ginger slices, bring it to a boil, and into the oven to finish cooking. I've had a few comments asking why I don't season the rice, and for a lot of East Asian cooking, we don't really season our rice unless it's part of a certain dish. Our other dishes tend to be pretty intensely flavored, salty, sweet, spicy, so it's nice to have a neutral base to balance out the flavorful side dishes. So sablefish has very thin bones that are stuck to the skin, which make it very difficult to pull out. You basically can't unless the fish is cooked. So what I like to do is just run my knife alongside the bones on both sides. Just gently glide your knife alongside the bones so you don't cut into them or cut too much of the fish. Now once you get to the skin, make sure you don't cut through, and you can literally just pull out all the bones together with your fingers. I rinse the fish in a bit of sake to get rid of any scales and fishy smell, but my hands were fishy so I didn't record it. Here's my backside as I rinse it. I pat it dry, I gently season it with salt, not too much since the miso glaze does have a lot of salt in it. If I was marinating it for a longer period of time, I would probably skip this step. And then I just throw it into a container, deeply massage that glaze into the fish, and let it relax in the fridge for as long as possible. I made a quick smashed cucumber salad that I tossed with salt and let it sit to remove some of that water and make it crispier. After 25 minutes in the oven at 350 and 20 minutes sitting out, that rice is perfectly cooked. After 10 minutes, I squeeze out some more of that cucumber water, combined with this yuzu-sesame vinaigrette, some sesame seeds, and let that chill in the fridge. 20 minutes before it's time to serve, I pull out the sablefish, put them onto a sheet pan, brush on more of that miso cod marinade, making sure not to contaminate our glaze. You can also skip this if you let it marinate longer, but since it was only marinated a short amount of time, this is the best way to pack it with as much of that sweet miso flavor as possible. Then I throw that into the broiler until it gets a nice char. To serve, I add steamed bok choy, the ginger scented rice, string beans, the broiled miso black cod, and the cucumber salad. Light and healthy.